I know this man. This man messages says, I'm gonna eat. I'm like, what? What do you mean you're gonna eat right now? I was like,
All right, so
I don't know.
I think we are
Might wanna give him a
recording.
ring. You might want to
Well,
give him a ring
anyway,
first.
what's that?
Give him a ring first and see what happens.
Can't be done.
Otherwise, he might take ages because he might not check his phone.
Can't be done. All right, Matt. It's just gonna be me and you, I guess. Listen, here we are. Look at us. Who would have thought? I am a podcast host, apparently. Apparently,
Apparently,
I'm a
apparently,
podcast
apparently
host. Apparently, I
made some moves recently.
Huh? Apparently, you know that meme that apparently that kid that says talks like that. Apparently, I would do no. You know what I'm talking
Yeah.
about? Apparently, this is what I do now. So here we are. So this morning, as multiple other million people around the world either seen last night or woke up to this morning, the first thing I saw when I opened social media was Big Jake Paul getting a massive knockout over Tyron Woodley.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see this?
No, I did not.
You're slacking, damn it. You're slacking. Okay.
Tell me about it. I don't check the news often enough.
But no, it got me
Tell me more about it. Tell me more about it.
Yeah, no, it just got me thinking about momentum. And for him, he's obviously got a crazy amount of momentum. And I thought about this a while ago, but like I feel like if there was one message I could pass on, it would be that first of all, momentum is the strongest force in the universe. I've heard multiple people say that. And first thing is build momentum and don't lose it. Because once you lose it, it's twice as hard to get it going again. You know? So yeah, and I feel like with what I'm doing now, like with dropping the song yesterday, did you hear Bus Track? I think you heard
I did.
I played that
I did.
one.
I saw the stories. It was everywhere. Yeah.
Indeed. But yeah, you've heard that one though, I think already, eh?
Yeah.
I showed you that one. Anyway, drop the
How
podcast.
How does it feel to have it out?
It feels like the momentum has started.
Yeah. Okay.
I feel like a boulder that was on top of a mountain that got pushed over the side and is now going and building momentum and an unstoppable force as it comes down. And I feel, and I know it's only been a one song and a one episode, but like that first step, taking that first step, like just getting over that hump is it feels really good. And I feel like unstoppable. Big Abel just joined the chat. I feel unstoppable. I was Abel, what's popping?
Yo, what's up? Well, what's up? What we on? What's up?
What up? I'm just talking real quick. So yeah, we're talking about momentum and taking that first step and getting out of your own way. I feel like that's a huge thing, in starting that process of momentum. And I feel like, Matt, that's kind of what you want to do with coaching, right? Teach people in a sense to get out of their own way. And taking that first step it's scary, but something you got to do.
Exactly. You got to gain that power back, all that intrinsic power that you have in you that you want to just let roar,
kinetic energy. I don't know if that'd be there. Yeah. But no, I was hoping you could touch on that one time. Build the momentum, how to just take that first step, get out of your own way.
Exactly.
But Avo, what's popping?
Momentum. Can you guys hear me first off?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you hear a lot of stuff in the background?
Yep.
Yeah.
So like
Avo, you seen the Jake Paul knockout of the fucking century, eh?
Yeah, man. It's like when I saw that knockout, I was like, bro, that's what you talk about, right? The fight.
I was talking about like that's what I like. I saw that and I was just like it got me thinking about momentum. You know how Jake's building this crazy momentum, and now it's like and then I was just thinking. I was telling Matt like I feel like the greatest, the most powerful force in the universe is like massive momentum.
Yeah, I mean, like, you know, it's momentum. I feel like is a process thing, right? It's like when you catapult something,
Yeah.
right? The most important parts is the manufacturing of the catapult, right? We obviously understand the flinging part, but it's the process before it that brings you to that catapult and that momentum. And sometimes, even if you seem still, you're still setting yourself up for that amazing rocket, you know, shooting out crazy momentum. So when I think about momentum, sometimes I think about the structure, right? We
Okay.
think about momentum, we think about vehicles, we think about we think about things that are moving, or machinery,
Yeah.
right? A
Yeah.
car, a plane, and on all those things, right? And I know that if I can make the plane, if I can get in the car, if I get in whatever, I'm going to get to where I need to get to. I'm going to feel that snowball effect. I'm going to tumble. But the hardest thing about it is the manufacturing of the vehicle, right? And then taking care of the vehicle. Because just because you get the momentum and you're moving fast, don't mean you're going to where you're supposed to be going. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
So
Facts. That
Jake Paul
reminds me of like
momentum, man.
what's that? Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say
No, I
that,
was
that
just about to
reminds me
finish
of
off and
what
say,
oh god.
no,
No,
no, no, sorry, we're doing it at the same time.
Tim Ferriss says like, there's a difference between being busy and productive. Like you can be busy all day long, but that don't mean that you're really moving anywhere.
Yeah,
But
nah,
so that's yeah,
that's true. That's true.
that's kind of just the idea I wanted to talk about. But yeah, speaking of the Matt, you want to touch on that at all?
I mean, that's where I'm at. Is that's the work I love to do. Is like how do you make sure you're going in the right direction, right? I
Indeed.
mean, usually you sense it out. Even if you do the wrong thing, you realize it's not the direction you want to go, right? Like you feel it. You're like, I've tried this. This isn't it. So even if you're going the wrong way, it's still moving you in the right direction. But how can you tap into this space where you have to figure out where you want to go, the intuitive side? You feel what the right next step is, like the artistic flow where artists are in the zone and all the lyrics are coming in, like that story's coming through, the design's coming through, you're tapped in. Some people call it the flow, some people call it intuition, whatever it is. But being in that space, your next step, you're like, this is right. And you feel it, like your whole body feels that you're excited. You're like, shit, I got to do this now. I got to call this person. I got to do this. I got to write this. And I think that's way more exciting to tap into that space and ride that wave than, like Abel was saying, move really quick, but you might not be going in the right direction. So usually it comes back to a feeling, if it feels right, feels really exciting, and like you feel it through your whole body, it's not just like a mental thing, but you like feel it, you feel energized, like you're moving in the right direction. Yeah.
I was going to add to that too, because you said, even if you're hanging in the wrong direction, don't mean, I would say, doesn't mean you can't get to the right place. And it's like when you do something, sometimes it's not the right thing to do by doing it, right? So it's not like it's a pointless exercise. Sometimes when you go in a particular direction, you get to find out for yourself that, okay, I thought this was the right way. But turns out this is the right path. But sometimes you can't even find the right path unless you walk that one, right? So it's not always, you're right, I should have added that on. Sometimes even if you're going in the wrong direction, it doesn't mean that you can never get along to the right path. Sometimes you need to be investigating the wrong path in order to find out the right one or get clues as to what the right one looks like and how to find it. With that being said, obviously we don't try out all the wrong paths first before we get to the right
Sometimes, yeah,
one.
sometimes you just want the experience, there's different ways to get to the same location. And sometimes, we probably all been in a situation where like, this probably isn't the best way to spend my time or money or resources at this moment. But at the same time, like, fuck it. Sometimes you're just like, you know what? I know this isn't the right thing, but I'm gonna fuck around and just have some fun along the way, either way. But that reminds me, yeah, like my boss was saying something similar about how he's like, whatever you're doing, he's like, make sure that you don't waste your time. Like make sure you're on a path that you at the end goal, the end vision is always there. And if you're gonna go down a path, just make sure it's really something you want, and just don't waste time with it, because you could be going down the proper path or whatever. I don't know, but no, yeah, I like that. What you said there makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
I think to add to both of what you guys just said is sometimes like when nothing is happening and you have no momentum, like the best thing to do is just to make a step to move, no matter what direction, because you don't know what the direction is, right? So going back to what you were saying, how important momentum is sometimes even just going in a direction will help you start to get momentum, right? So you start going in a direction and then you start feeling it out, right? Because it's like you're going through the experience and you're like, oh, I like this, I don't like this. And like all of that is nudging you to where, if you're listening to it, so which way you should go, right? But it's only when you start going, when you give yourself momentum, like when you get out of bed, you make the bed, you're like, I got momentum, you got this, you do a workout, whatever you need to do. And then that just starts moving you onto like that wavelength that you want to be on, that frequency to like pop into everything, like when you're lazy on the couch, like the chances of you, making all the right calls and like writing all the right things and being in the flow, probably not going to happen, unless you really need to relax and you like finally let go and it comes. But in general, just like moving in that direction, like you're saying, you go to the studio, you do that, you're like, oh man, I got this idea for this thing to collaborate with this person, you get on that. It's like, so sometimes just getting that momentum going just means going in a direction. When you feel stuck, just go wherever you need to, just try.
Sometimes you don't know that's the path you want to go down until you try it. You can try multiple different things and realize that, oh, maybe that's actually not what I want to do. But yeah, so taking that first step in multiple directions, it can't hurt. Give shit a try.
It's kind of
yeah.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
No, go ahead. It's kind of what?
I'll just say one last thing because I think we all get it by now, but like, this, it's like sparks sometimes with momentum too, because like you said, you take one, you feel like you're not moving, just take a step, even if it's anywhere, take a step, because the idea is you're trying to spark something into a fire, right? If you're continuously sparking, right? You're continuously finding that friction, you're continuously struggling, trying to put it together and trying to make it to illuminate, right? Trying to, so it's like, I always sometimes think like, even if I don't feel like doing something, like it's something, that I know I should be doing, I'll do a little thing of it. I'll do the half step of that because it's still it's still movement. And what happens is I'm still thinking. Sometimes it's just continuously thinking about the thing. If you match it with the thinking and the doing, you'll get to the right place, and sometimes the doing gets hard, right? It gets like, too much. Even if, all right, then don't do as much, have to do, but keep thinking about it and you'll get to the full, you'll get to where you need to get to. So I think we covered it, but yeah, that's how I feel.
No, I love that. I'd love to add on to that because that's actually a good segue into another point that I've heard recently. It's that, once I forget who it was or where it was from, but this guy was saying, he's like, the key to success and like what you need to understand about life and anything you're doing is like, you never really feel like doing it. You never really feel like doing it until like you're actually in it and you get into the flow. Like you got to do, like you just, like every time, even like working out or like Matt, like with our cold showers and stuff, like every single day, I don't want to do that shit. You know what I mean? But
clarify that you guys were in your separate cold showers. not together in showers.
Indeed, indeed, definitely. Well, we're in separate countries, so yeah, that's definitely not happening.
Yeah.
But yeah, you never feel like you want to do it. There's always gonna be, you always gotta force yourself to start. And like Abel was saying, like if you want to do something, start with just one. Like if you want to exercise, like just start with one or like 5-10 push-ups, just start. And like once you get into the workout, man, like we all know, like beginning of the workout, you're just getting into it, it's like whatever. Halfway through, you're fucking feeling amazing, you know what I mean? And you want to keep going. And yeah, you always feel a lot better, I feel like, during than right before or right when you're starting. So yeah, I feel like that can apply to a lot of things. You never really feel like it. Even this is kind of like it's uncomfortable in a sense. It's getting out of your comfort zone, but it's just diving in. And like I was telling Matt, apparently I'm a podcast host now. Apparently I make music. Apparently this is what I do now. So I'm gonna have to force myself to get it done, even when I feel like I don't want to, just because it's who I am now. It's part of the routine.
It's the force is a strong word. I feel like it's like you understand that you've made a decision, right? And you've committed to something. And if nobody forced you, that's that force word again, you've made a decision, right? So if you don't do the thing, you're not letting everybody else down. I mean, you could be, but the first person that you're disobeying, that you're obstructing, that you're going against is yourself. So it's like that's you'll be at conflict with yourself. Sometimes it's just like, all right, I decided to do this because I want to do this, and I'm agreeing to do this even when it gets hard, even when it gets tough, even when I'm tired, and I'll do it anyways. You know what I mean? But if it feels like I'm doing this and I don't even want to do this, why did I tell myself to do this? Okay, those should be some reflection. Maybe that's a telling thing. But either way, it's like, it's like finding I'm trying not to look at force. Like you're gonna find a thing that made you want to do this in the first place, because you had the idea, right? Now it's an investigation. It's like, I told myself I'm gonna do this. All right, let's get into this. You know what I'm saying? And feel it, and then you see something, and you're like, whoa, I never got this before. Good thing I went with this feeling. I'm sorry to go super into it, but it doesn't have to be a negative force. It doesn't have to be a negative thing. You know what I mean? It's just just jump in, right? Yeah,
for sure. And that's kind of the thing.
And it seems like things that you enjoy doing. So that's the key too, is like you get to explore in a space that you like things. Like, you're interested, you like it. And it's like, it's not just an exploration, it's an adventure. You've signed up to make this decision, and now you're going down the adventure. See what happens, what pops up, what's coming your way, how you can like adapt along the like that. This is where the fun starts.
The journey is the reward.
Yeah.
I don't know if that fits in here, but that's just something I say all the time.
It does.
If it didn't, you made it. If it didn't, you made it fit. That there you
Yeah, that's something I've been thinking about a lot lately. This is the best it gets. It's like the present moment thing. The work that you don't want to do, the things that you don't want to do, like all the little things, all the little tedious things that you build that momentum on. That's the dream. That's the dream, apparently, anyway. I don't know, so they say. The process. And it's just something I
was watching this video yesterday
that
I thought would pertain well to this. Is I think it was like some like reel or something on Instagram, whatever, but it was I think it was Kevin Hart. Don't get me wrong, I think it was Kevin Hart. And he was saying that, I think it was Kevin Hart. Anyway, he was saying that you can, like, when he was doing stuff when he was younger, his parents would tell him to like get a job and to do things a certain way. And he's like, well, I am doing my job, I'm just not getting paid yet. And then on top of that, he said, I can either be feeding my energy into my nightmares, or I can be feeding my energy into my dreams. And he's like, I prefer and I choose to feed energy into my dreams. And I was like, that nightmare bit really hit me, right? Because like, I think for most of us doing like a 9 to 5 is like, actually Abel does love Abel's doing everything, but he does love that part of his journey as well. But I guess for me and you, I stepped the bounds here. But I guess for me and you, like the way that we structure things is a bit different, the way that we prefer. And that nightmare bit really resonates with me because that's something that it just doesn't, I don't feel aligned with, right? So maybe nightmare is a bit strong, but it's why would you feed something that you don't align with when you could feed something that you align with? So for me, at least, it was quite strong. I don't know. It hit me.
I think that was Will I
In
Am.
order to motivate.
Was it? Dude, I don't know. I watched too many reels yesterday. I got lost.
I think so, because I just seen something like that a day or two ago as well. Him talking about like, yeah, like he's like, I got a job. I just ain't getting paid for it. Yeah, I got a career. But yeah, hey, what were you gonna say?
Yeah, that is a yeah.
And well, I was just gonna say, in order to motivate, it has to be that drastic. If you're either feeding your dreams or you're feeding your nightmares. You can't say I'm either feeding my dreams and then a less good lifestyle that I hope it won't be my dreams, but I'll be okay. That won't be able to feed you the motivation to do a particular job that doesn't pay you anything.
Speak
right?
to him.
So, and to be honest, you don't know what your life may look like. It very well may be your nightmare, in fact, right? If you continuously do the things you're not supposed to be doing, right?
Yeah.
Especially when this thing you should be doing, what else could you be contributing to than your own small version of hell that you've concocted? And sometimes, it may not be that drastic, but then sometimes it is that drastic. If you do that in every regard in your life where you're like, I know I should do this, but I'm choosing not to. I know I should do this, but I'm choosing to do this. It's like, yeah, okay, maybe it's not a big deal in the first one. If you make that decision on every sector of your life, your whole life will look like that. Just that. Always taking the second best choice until it's the worst choice, right? And you're choosing between the worst of two evils. Anyways, but yeah, I actually like that saying. I think I've heard that before too, that sushi, but that's pretty strong, by the way. If it's Will I Am or Kevin Hart, I don't know.
It probably is what I don't know. I'm actually it's really awesome. But that makes me think as well, like a lot of the people that we've looked up to and people that we try to learn from, right? They're the ones that have really taken each decision as extremely important in their lives, right? Like each decision they make every day to make sure they're building toward what they want, right? Mm-hmm. So like really about being intentional with decisions and like creating in the way that you want and putting energy behind each of those decisions, like putting your foot down, being like, this is how it's going to be. This is what I'm going to create. This is who I'm going to work with, yada, yada, yada. But those are the people that seem like, from our understanding, that are, living the life that they dreamed, be in different industries or like if they've created that externally, internally, but like they're in the place that they wanted to experience, that they wanted to live in. So I think that ties in like really nicely.
Yeah. I'd like to make a point on that one time. If it's not a fuck yes, then it's a fuck no.
Binary. I like it.
That's all I got.
Seriously, sometimes it's that simple. Seriously, sometimes it's that simple, right? It don't gotta be too complicated. That saying speaks for itself right in there. I'm either contributing to my dreams, contributing to my nightmares. And you're like, well, goddamn, all right, fine, do what you gotta do.
Yeah, like right. Yeah, I've heard that saying a couple times over the years. But yeah, like if it's not a fuck yes, like what are we even spending any time or energy on it for, and that's obviously something a lot of people struggle with. Like obviously, people want to say yes to things. And but yeah, that's kind of like going back to the first step, taking that first step and saying yes to some type of dream or goal that you have. And yeah, just one day we're going to regret not doing the things. Well, how's that quote go? It's like, you don't regret the things you did, you regret the things you didn't do. And we all going to be on our deathbed one day, and it's like, fuck. But a lot of people act like they're coming back.
Yeah. I wouldn't like to say I'll be on my deathbed one day. I like to be MIA. You know what I mean? Yes, sir. What do you call it? No, death killed in action. KIA, so I guess, right? I want to be living right up to the end.
Yeah.
Just all the way up to the end. I don't care what happens. It was like, nope, I don't want to be in a nursing home. I don't want to be there. Nah, I want to be kicking all the way through. So
Facts.
Yeah, I think too, we talk about this often, is like how people talk about like aging, like, I'm getting older and all this stuff. And like, in a sense, that goes back to momentum, right? Like you're telling yourself that you're losing momentum, you're like, oh, I got this and I can't do this, yada, yada. But for me personally, like year on year, whenever it's like your birthday, I think, another year, you're just like, you're getting smarter, you're getting more energy, like your dreams are coming more true. Everything is building year on year. And then looking at it that way, when you're 70, 80, whatever it is, like who knows how magical things could be. So it's really just envisioning the momentum getting bigger, and that every day you're pushing toward growing that momentum, just like flipping the script
in their
of what
70s
old age
and
is.
80s that are living life more than people in their 20s. It's a mindset thing. And
100%.
like my boss, he's like 65 and like he made a lot of money over the years, and he could have been retired for a long time. And and all his friends and family ask him like, yo, like why don't you retire, bro? Like you got money, like what are you still working for? And he basically says like, if you stop, you die. And like it's a stat that like most people die within like 5 or 6 years of retirement. And this other guy, when I was working at Canadian Tire years ago, he was a teacher and he was retired. And I was like, what are you doing here, bro? Like, you got a pension? Like, he's the first person that said that. He's like, man, you stop, you die. So retirement, I feel like, is kind of a trap, and it's not something that you should really focus on attaining as a goal. Like Abel was saying, I want to be going till I'm done. Like why stop? Just, I don't know. Like I feel the same way. Like I want to be doing shit until the fucking until the very last, until I can't no more. So I like that idea recently. Yeah, retirement, because it's such.
hold on, Mitch. I think you're breaking up.
I'm here. Are you here, Matt?
Yeah.
Yeah, Mitch, you just broke up for a second. Sorry, you just broke up for me for a second, but you're back.
What's the last part you heard?
You stop, you die.
You finished your story about the Walmart person who was a teacher, who told you stop, you die, right? That's, you stopped, and then you started breaking up right after that.
Oh yeah, I was just saying, like you were saying, I want to be doing shit forever. I don't ever want to retire. I feel like we can always do something, and in our later years, there's always a way to contribute.
Yeah. Well, it's like who are the people who? Yeah, well, who are the people who die? What type of jobs do they do? Oh, well, these are like business people. Maybe politicians. Like there's all sorts of people who have really amazing lives, and then they're like, yeah, I want to do this till I die. Like, why would I just stop? And it's not to say that it's the only jobs you should do is like business people, or business jobs, whatever, or politicians. There's plenty of other jobs that people continuously do right up to their dead. There's actually a guy at my Stellantis plant who's super old, and they actually tried to get rid of him because it's dangerous for him to come into work. He's so old, right? He can barely walk. Like he has to call people when he's at the gate to help them, like hold his arm, or whatever, hold him, so he doesn't get blown away when it gets really windy, right? Like he might fall down and hurt himself. So like people will help him walk into the plant sometimes.
But is he doing it because he wants to, or because like he still has to work?
Well, no, he can get a really good pension. He'll be fine. And trust me, a lot of people do not want to be there. So if they have a thing where they can get a pension and they get a good deal, they'll leave, right? but it's a thing where he likes coming in. He wants to see everybody, right? He knows that he's been there for decades. He knows so many people there, right? He's made so many relationships,
His livelihood.
right? Yeah, I mean, it's just like he likes being there. Like, let's be clear, he doesn't really work. He's kind of like just sits around. They can't really give him much to do, but he's just chilling, right? He's just but
also
for the most
look at
part,
all the richest people in the world, like you look at the richest people and there's why don't you guys just go and chill, but they're always doing something. They're always, moving on to the next thing just because they know what's good. They know that like, you got to keep going no matter what, no matter how much money you make, there's always something. And I feel like that's like part of feeling fulfilled too, like nobody's fulfilled sitting on their ass watching Netflix, being retired and doing nothing, like you got to find something.
Speak for yourself, Mitchell. Speak for yourself. I like Netflix, pretty
Indeed.
hard.
But 24/7 for years on end, it's going to drive you crazy. It's not going to bring you much happiness after a while.
Crazy, yeah. They don't got that many good shows. You're correct. Yeah, that's right.
Indeed.
That's true.
So yeah.
I really like the idea though of really working till you die, because it's not just that you stop, it's that you stop living, right? And if you're not living, then you are perceived to be dead, right? That's the whole point. It's like you're either living or you're dying, right? Or just dead. But the whole, so it's like, all right, I want to live, I want to do as much, I want to contribute.
How's that Nicki Minaj line go? What'd she say? What's Nicki Minaj say about that? Something about living and dying. Some people live, or no, everybody lives. Or no, everybody dies, but not everybody lives.
It's something like I don't know what line you're talking about. If I heard it, I'd probably be like, but I assess that as the sentiment. As everybody dies, but not everybody lives, right? Something like that.
Yeah. Those are the exact words. Yeah.
Yo, Abel, I was gonna edit or like remix what you just said, was like, instead of working till you die, like serving till you die, because work has this connotation where like you're doing something that you don't want to do, but I think for all of us and what we want to do is like, how do you share through the process, right? Like, how do you build people up? So like just using the word serve for me is more exciting. It feels more expansive, like more freeing, more playful than like work, because you're like, oh shit, work is never gonna end. You're like, work till the very end. But I know what you mean. I know you don't mean it like that, but I think using the word work often has that connotation, or at least kind of makes you feel like that for a second. You're like, oh, work,
Well, to be honest, service is a great word. Service, it even can sound like a duty that was given to you, by God himself, right? I mean, I've made it more than what it is, but it could be that serious. It's like you got a calling. You're supposed to serve, right? Everyone has to serve, right? I really like that in service of something, because then you would infer that you would have to, be humble. You humble yourself, right? You humble yourself. There's things that you can do, or humble yourself, or give yourself a more confidence. Like, hey, there's things you can still contribute to, right? You can still be of service. That's actually a pretty good word. I would also say that's a better word too.
And I think probably too, like as we blossom throughout the years, I'm not gonna say age, so as we blossom through the years, I think that we'll have even more and more to give back, and you're probably just like keep shifting over time in order to give back more. And two, like, when you're like 70 or 80, so much stuff, I think things like mentoring and things like that are even useful now for people that were like our age, like, or who were us when we were younger, coming out of high school or uni. They could use a lot of things that we've learned. But at that age, you have so much stuff, there's so many people that you could help out with what you've gone through. So it really, in a sense, does come like a service in a way, to be able to just share that with everybody.
That's what this podcast is all about, providing value. Everybody provides value in one sense or another. If you work at McDonald's, you're providing value to somebody. Any job you have, you're providing value. Like, you have a team that's counting on you to show up. And that's kind of what I'm doing, showing up in a different sense, providing value in a different sense, doing this. I think some people can gain some value and knowledge and service from this little talk here. So yeah, that's the idea of this
You
whole
know,
podcast, be of service in some sense, one way or another. So yeah. But
and
Zoom sent
yeah.
me a thing saying we passed the 40-minute mark on recording, and they said they're giving me a gift or something to keep it going. So I don't know how much longer it's gonna go, but so I think we should wrap up pretty soon. But yeah, if you want to touch on that one last time, maybe what were you gonna say?
I just want to wrap up because I had a discussion with my brother the other day with this. Sometimes we get wrapped up with this grand, this grand sense of I need a hyper level of passion and fulfillment in my life, and that puts a lot of pressure on people, right? Because now it's, even if I had 100 options, I can't ever feel comfortable with making an option because I'll always think that there's another option I could have done that would have made me feel the most passionate. So when we talk about servitude and service, utility, just be useful. Start at being useful, being of service to somebody else, giving to somebody else with whatever talents you have, right? It's actually funny because I talked to Matt about this the other day. In doing this job as an industrial engineer for the last 2 years now, in February, I've developed skills that are useful to other people. People can count on me, rely on me because I've developed skills. And at first, even though I had an IE degree and all the things that said I was, good at this, I wasn't useful. I was not good at the job. I was a terrible, terrible IE. And I got, the repercussions of that. So starting with just the use, finding ways to be useful. That's how I got better. Finding ways to be useful to the people around you. You'll develop the skills, you'll get better, and you'll find out what you need to do, and you'll run into the fulfillment. You'll run into the usefulness, right? Sometimes you don't start off with thinking, you start off with the doing, right? I think Helen Keller talks about how she had no thoughts until she learned language, right? She couldn't piece together thoughts. She had to do and then learn, and then her thoughts became more complex, right? And I think that's how it is with everything that you do something new. You can't just think and then you figure what to do. Sometimes you got to learn the language of that thing. You have to understand the parameters of the thing by doing the thing, and then you understand more about it. So I was really convoluted, but the very much point I'm trying to make is, start with utility. You can look around your own life and figure out how to be useful to people. And even if you don't feel necessarily the grand passion of fulfillment, you will bring so much value and love to other people that you may get them to find their own fulfillment. And if that's not an impressive thing, I don't know what is. But I think I should wrap it up.
Yeah, the last thing I'll say about that is
Mitchell, I'm gonna alley oop this to Mitchell.
Matt.
Lighthouse.
First, Matt.
Go for it, Mitchell. Go for it.
There's this quote that goes, I don't know who said it, but it goes, you could have anything you want, but you can't have everything you want. And like you were saying, like there's so much different options. There's so many different options out there. You make one decision and you're always thinking like maybe I should have made another one. But yeah, sometimes you just got to choose one or two and just commit to it, because you're always going to have that feeling no matter what you choose. If you make music, you'll be like, maybe, you'll be making music and be like, maybe I should be doing, I don't know, like choreography for dance or something. Like, if, you choose doing YouTube, you wonder, maybe I should be doing like be on the news or something, so you just got to choose your path, commit to it, and try it out for a little while, see if you fuck with it or not. But yeah. That's where I'll end off there. Matty K, wrap us up, baby. Let's go.
I was gonna say I was gonna tie everything together here. So
tie it all together,
just like the last like 2 minutes.
One time.
So Abel was saying how like just bring utility bring your skills, just bring what you have to the table, you know, for the people around you to be supportive. And that could be, you know, it could be like hard skills, like knowing certain techniques for things. It could be soft skills, right? Just like being kind to somebody, holding space for somebody. But as both of you were saying, when you show up as your best self, you know, as your higher self, then not only is that, you know, you're bringing the best to everybody around you, but you can also spark the best in them. So I'm actually gonna give this one to you, Mitchell, the lighthouse right here. So you can hammer this one home, right?
Indeed, that's the goal. You know, what else is there to do other than inspire people? If you can inspire someone, I feel like that's pretty much you'll be fulfilled, and yeah, you'll be passing that on, and hopefully they can eventually do the same thing. And yeah, that's kind of what this is all about. Just being that light. And I guess so, yeah, we'll finish off on that message. If you can, be a light in somebody's life, you know, in one way or another. Try to be that light. That's all the world needs. The world needs that, you know. So that's that. That's our first little wrap up, boys. That's our first little episode. Let's go. Welcome to the Lighthouse. Like, comment, subscribe. This will be the first of many, hopefully. And yeah, we're going to keep getting to it. More music coming soon. I got music coming. Abel's got music coming. Matt's got a course coming, or it's already available. I'll leave some links to all that in the bio of wherever this ends up. And yeah, thank you, boys, for joining. We'll see y'all next time. Deuces.
Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure, bro. Appreciate you having us.
Appreciate you.